All right. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Remember to be appropriate on the chat if you are there. I don't see anybody yet. But the first thing I was going to have you guys do would be to tell me something fun you've tried during this extra time that you've had, because I want to hear from you guys. So it's really tough being at home and not going into work. So I just want to hear a little bit. And then if you haven't seen, I have done there was an update on Google Classroom, which I don't remember where I put it. Oh, it's over here. So on this, there is an update for you guys. So if you haven't read it, hopefully you can see it here. This is just for you guys. So tomorrow, April 1st, the seniors can go in from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Your temperature will get taken. You have to stay 6 feet apart at all times. I'm guessing that means you can go to your lockers and get what you need. Juniors, you are going to be Monday, April 6th, and sophomores, Tuesday, April 7th. So get in there if you can. Hi Riley, hi Michael, hi Nadia. I miss you guys very, very much. Yeah, I'm going to get started with the notes now for LD-50 and whatnot. I'm going to keep this over the side so that I can see any questions that you guys might have as I'm going. Hi Noah. Let's see. Sorry, I'm going back through again. Just a reminder, this is the YouTube channel for the AP reviews. You can always go back on later. Hi, Kennedy. And you should be able to go to any one that gets posted or subscribe to the YouTube channel to be able to see them all. Hi, Mia. I'll wait for a few more people to join in before I start going over this. It's really nerdy, but I enjoy seeing you guys in the live chat. No, exit full screen. I don't want the full screen. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get this up. I want to present, but not in full screen. Okay, let's see. Maybe I can do it so it's not quite full screen. Do you guys know? Oh, sweet. There we go. Okay, so now I can see if you guys have any questions. All right, I'll get started. So there's a measurement of LD-50 and LC-50, and so let's kind of take a look. Maybe. Oops, too far. So here's the definition. I'm just going to give you a really shortened one because you guys can read it by yourselves. But basically what it's looking at is the dose that would kill, the dose of some chemical, something, anything really, dose that kills 50% of the test population of animals. So what this means is if you're testing a group of rats or fish or whatnot, it really is just a lethal dose for that number of organisms. Now we can look at, we could apply that to human beings, but it really is just of that test group of animals, that population there. And there is a LD-50 for absolutely everything. So air, water, I don't know if they found it for absolutely everything. I'm sure they haven't, but it is an index. Generally, we use it with medications as well, but also with pesticides and different things. There is a median, lethal dose. So sorry, this is truly just the same thing, shortened. The lower that LD-50 number, the more toxic it is. So that means if there's a smaller dose that causes it, it's a very toxic chemical. We're measuring it in milligrams per kilogram of body weight of that organism. Sorry, there we go. So this shows things that are toxic versus non-toxic versus slightly toxic, moderately toxic, very toxic, extremely toxic, and and super toxic. And so what we're looking at here is if it takes 1 quart to kill 50% of the population, it's not a very toxic substance. And then you keep going down a pint to a quart, all the way down to less than 7 drops. That's very toxic. If 7 drops is going to kill half of the test population. The only difference in the LD-50 is that we're talking about a concentration now. So we're talking about in air and water. You're not talking about your medication dose that you're taking in. You're actually talking about how much is in the atmosphere or how much is in the water that you're drinking in. But it's the same situation here. You're looking at the concentration in that water or air that would kill 50% of the exposed population. Okay, so when they look at drugs for doctors, what they're prescribing and what a therapeutic dose is, they look at what the effective dose would be for 50% of the subjects, meaning an effective dose is it doing what the drug is designed to do for 50% of the test subjects. And then the lethal dose is what would kill, the lethal dose for 50% of the subjects. You're not going to have to ever find a therapeutic dose. I just find it interesting to look at what the index is there and what it would be to be effective versus lethal. No drug is ever 100% safe. I was supposed to skip those, sorry. The threshold level of toxicity, this is very interesting. This is actually from an FRQ, this one right here. Hopefully I can make that go away again. But when you're looking at a threshold, you're looking at a point at which there is no observable effect, and then all of a sudden it kind of shoots up and you do end up having that effect. So you can see that threshold level is marked there at the graph at 0.001. Concentration, that percent. It's of copper sulfate, I believe. And then it's the death of brine shrimp. So notice that threshold, it's staying pretty consistent, and then after that you start to get that uptick of what's going on, of it increasing. And right before 0.1 is the LC, in this case because it's a concentration, the LD-50, because you're at 50 of the dead brine shrimp, which is half of 100. Go ahead and take a second and watch this later, just because I don't want to waste your time on here watching it, but you can go back and look at what is a dose response anyways and what happens. So this is what a dose response curve would look like, and on the next slide I have some examples of different ones. But hypothetically, that's what your dose response curve would look like, much like the one from this slide. That's of copper sulfate again on brine shrimp. So you're going to look at the measured response over here, what the dose is. It is in that log scale of 10, kind of like you would see for pH. So that's what this log is showing. Not super important. I don't really want to go into that, and don't stress yourself out looking at it. But what you're looking at is we're increasing the dose this way. What is the measure response, whatever you're looking at? It could be, is it the effective dose you can look at, or it could be the lethal dose that you're looking at here, but you're measuring what the response is in the test population. So here you have comparison of dose response of different drugs. So they got drug X, Y, and Z, looking at the dose, looking at a log scale. So if you notice, it starts at 1, goes to 10, then goes to 100. So that's that dose, a log scale of 10. And then you're looking at a response, whatever that response is. So in this case, drug X has greater biological activity per dosing equivalent, and thus more potent than drug Y or drug Z. So that means that the response happens at a lower dose. And then drugs X and Z have equal efficacy, meaning you can get a maximum response out of it. So there's at some point a ceiling effect, meaning you could keep taking more and more, but you're not going to get any better results or response from that drug. Kind of like that range of tolerance. So you can keep taking more, but it's not going to continue to help at all. Slightly. They're kind of different. Drug Y is more potent than drug Z, but the maximum efficacy is lower. So again, that efficacy, what we're talking about is what response are you getting? And that is all for the notes. Shoot some questions while I go over and talk about the experimental design assignment that I have that goes along with this. So this is a formative assessment to help us prepare. We have done experimental designs in class. I think we still need work on it, which is why I wanted to do this as a formative assessment for you guys. This setup is really simple, so I want to explain it a little bit more. Please send it to me and I can give you your feedback. For Unit 9, which I assume we'll be doing from home as well, or at least starting it, you will have an experimental design as one of your actual assessments. Reminder that for this last quarter, I wanted to go through all 7 scientific practices. Unit 8 will have been the solving a problem. I do need to get math sorted out and involved in this again. And so I'll have a way for us to assess math probably next week. So we've got those 2, math, solving a problem. You're going to do text analysis with pathogens. And of course, I've forgotten the other one. Oh, the visual representation that you guys still need to work on. So those are 4. The other 3 we'll be doing in Unit 9. There will be FRQs for both of those units as well. So let's talk about this experimental design on here. Basically, you're designing an experiment just to test what the LD-50 of salt would be on germinating of plants. So what would you do? How would you test this? Reminder, you want to have a control group, an experimental group. What are those going to look like? How are you going to control the different variables? What are your variables going to be? Remember, your independent is what you're changing. Hint, hint, it's going to be the amount of salt that you're putting on the seeds. For what you're measuring, you're going to try and measure the LD-50. So use that. This is part of learning about LD-50 in this assignment as well as experimental design. So I don't want to tell you too much there. I want you to kind of think through that and go back through the notes. What will you measure? That's that dependent variable. What are the things you're going to keep constant? How long are you going to test? How many different groups are you going to have? So think about all those things when you're turning that in. All right, I'm going to go back to seeing myself and you guys seeing me here. That is all I have for right now, so I want to try and keep them short. So ask any last questions you have, or I said this in the beginning, but I think people got on a little bit later. Tell me something fun you've done or tried during this time to kind of keep you sane while you've been at home. So I want you to shoot that in the messages if you could. Next lesson will be Thursday at 1 p.m. This will be over pollution and human health. It's very short. There's really not a lot going on there, but I'm also going to talk a little bit more about the pathogens. And as a reminder, you should be working on pathogens. No, so for the experimental design, we not only need to explain how to design. You don't have to use the justification of it being used. It really just is the experimental design of the situation. What are your groups going to look like? Your independent variable, your dependent variable. So what are you changing? What are you measuring? What do the constants look like? You don't have to justify it being used. That was a good question. For the pathogens, I should go back to that real quick for you guys to show it. Michael, that's a good question. So really, when they're doing drug trials, I don't know the entire process going through, but in general, they are testing them because you have to have human trials at some point. But they could be drugs for humans or animals. Really, all chemicals can have a lethal dose. Riley, we decided that all assignments from the first 2 weeks need to be due on Friday for you guys. That way I can look at them over the weekend and give you guys some feedback. Because next week we're going to be reviewing and then also testing over Unit 8. So there's going to be an FRQ and multiple choice. So having all that done ahead of time is going to be beneficial for you taking the test. Great questions, you guys. I want to look at the pathogens, just so you guys are working on that, because this one might take a little bit longer. This one is for a grade. It's going to be a text analysis. So you're going to pick one of the following. You're going to send it to me so that we can share it with everyone. So in your guys' group chats that you guys have, maybe kind of make sure all of these are covered. I'm okay with them being covered more, but I am going to put it into a PowerPoint that we all can share and look at them, and I'll probably have a video that I post about all of them. You're going to find an article, so you need to find a legit article, find a .gov, something .org, something from a university where they've studied these different pathogens that we have. Describe the author's perspective and what assumptions they have. You're looking at the author's reasoning. So what evidence do they have to support their claim about this? And then evaluate the credibility of the source. So you want to kind of give us a gist of what is the plague, what happened, what was the pathogen. Same with tuberculosis. So we're kind of looking at where they came from. If you look at the PowerPoint that I actually already have in Google Slides that I will be entering your information in, a little hint for you guys. This is the information about pathogens as well. You can see a little bit more information about the plague already in the notes. So you guys should be able to see that part, and that could be helpful to get you started on whichever one you choose. Looking at what type of an infection it is. All right, going back to me again. Oh, Tao, thank you for joining us at the very end. And good morning. I guess you just woke up, hun. So that was the pathogens. Make sure you're working on that as well. I'll hang around for another 30 seconds to see if you guys have any more questions or have anything interesting that you've done over these almost 2.5 weeks that we've been gone. I haven't seen any. It's weird because I never have awkward silences in class. You guys just always are talking. But I want to wait in case there's a delay. Ariana! Oh, Ariana, that's the cutest thing ever. Will you tell Taryn I said hi too, please? So Tau, it is only going to be FRQ. That's the easiest way for them to keep it secure, I guess. I don't know, we're at home, so I don't know how secure it can be. So there are actually going to be no multiple choice. Michael, that's awesome. Congratulations, dude. That's great. Very exciting. Sorry, I should have said it. I'm sure you guys can see it, but Michael committed to Miami. Tell me more, guys. Yes, Noah, that's exactly what the visual project is. You're explaining some process or concept visually, though. So absolutely, you can do algal blooms. Remember that there's going to be maybe some written explanations because it's more than just that process. It's then linking it to another concept and then a greater concept in an overall theme of AP Environmental Science. Tao, congrats. She committed to UC before the quarantine. That's exciting. I'm excited for you. Oh, Kennedy, painting and coloring, that's awesome. I'd love for you to share with me what you're looking at. And Kennedy said she's going to UC too. Congrats. Yay. Nadia asked if I've done anything interesting. So I have hurt my back again, and I've just been laying around. Yesterday, I actually sneezed and threw my back out. So I'm waiting to hear back from doctors. But I did watch the whole season of Love is Blind, and I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I'm probably going to watch season 2. And I started watching Ozarks season 3. Oh, and Tiger King. I am reading a book, though. Just to put that out there. Noah also committed to UC. And Riley's going to Kent State. Look at y'all. It makes me so sad that I might not get to see the seniors and may not get a class photo with all of you guys. So we may have to do that on a Zoom chat. Yes, Tao. I believe the seniors who can go Wednesday, you can get your stuff out of your locker and take it home. I don't know if there's something specific they're trying to give you for AP. I just think it's more that you're going to be able to get your materials. And I still have practice exam books if you want them, but I think honestly, well, those could be helpful, but I think the online review sessions are going to be really helpful too. And whatnot. Oh, blessing. You have plenty of time to figure it out. I mean, we're at home, right? All right, anything else? Tao, I like FRQs, but I think we need to beef up on them a little bit more. But yeah, my students normally do better on FRQs. Oh, I'm sorry, Blessing. I love you very much, though. Kennedy, great question. I'm hoping that that's where they're starting, and then maybe they can ease into it. But the issue is they are having to check everyone's temperature before they come in. I think maybe because the AP exam is still happening and there aren't any other exams happening. So I believe the EOCs are no longer going to be a thing this year. IB, I've heard, is not doing an exam anymore. So I think that they're doing that because we're the only ones actually having a test. Tao, that's a very good question. I don't know if there'll be a graduation ceremony. I don't know. I wish I could answer that. Yes, can be. They're lucky that you're going in. I would get their stuff for them. Yeah. Get them. Make sure you have their locker numbers. You know what hallway it's in, and their combinations, and go get it for them. The teachers, in fact, are only let in today and Thursday, and as far as we know, that's all that we're going to be let in for right now. So my day is supposed to be on Thursday. Tao, you're not. Don't do it. Not smart. No, no. You guys, that's not. Nope. Nope, not a thing. All right, I'm going to sign off here. Just some reminders. Thursday, I'll do this again. It'll be a much shorter one. There's not that much information. We've already gone over a lot of it. Blessing, I don't think they're actually going to be at the same time. I got to do a survey and I was asked the times that I would push for my students to take it, and they had them anywhere from May all the way, I think it went to July or June for when they're going to be. I honestly don't know. Blessing. A reminder to work on the experimental design and send that to me so I can give you feedback. Please be working on the pathogens assignment. And I will, and keep checking Google Classroom and emails. Don't go crazy. For me personally, at 3 p.m., I'm going to shut my computer. I'm not looking at anything. So give your guys self some boundaries. Set some time for you. I'm going to work on it for this hour. Then I'm going to take a break. I'm going to work on it for this hour, and then I'm not going to work on it until the next day. I think that's really important. I've had to set those boundaries for myself so I don't get stressed out. All right. Bye, y'all.